Protests erupting across Israel today, from Tel Aviv all the way to Eilat in the south, as pressure mounts on the government to secure a ceasefire and hostage deal. The country's largest labour union called for a nationwide strike, the most wide-reaching in the country since March 2023, when a similar mass walkout over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's controversial attempts to overhaul the judiciary brought much of the economy to a standstill. Well, this time, the protests erupted after the bodies of 6 slain hostages were recovered from Gaza. The Hostage Families Forum expressed, quote, deep sorrow, saying, and I quote, a deal for the return of the hostages has been on the table for over 2 months. Were it not for the delays, sabotage and excuses, those whose deaths we learned about this morning would likely still be alive. It is time to bring our hostages home, the living for rehabilitation and the fallen and murdered for burial in their homelands. Well, I've been following these talks very closely, speaking to contacts across this region to try and find out what exactly is going on with this deal. So let's just take a moment to step back and have a look at what has been happening over the last couple of months. May the 31st, President Joe Biden says it's time for this war to end and lays out a 3-point ceasefire plan. At that point, 125 hostages remained in Gaza, some dead, others alive. June 11th, the UN Security Council overwhelmingly approved the proposal, but Israel vowed to continue offensive in Gaza, saying it won't engage in meaningless negotiations with Hamas. 116 hostages remained at that point. July the 31st, Hamas's lead negotiator, Ismail Haniyeh, is assassinated in Tehran. Iran blames Israel, and the chief mediator, Qatar, says it's hard to get a deal done if one side is assassinated. 115 hostages remained. By August 26th, several rounds of negotiations were held in Doha and in Cairo to try to strike a deal. No luck. 105 hostages remain in Gaza, and a grim milestone was met on this day. The total number of Palestinians killed in Gaza surpassed 40,000. And then here we are today. That number on the Palestinian side rising, and the fate of the hostages growing darker by the day. 101 remain in Gaza, with over 30 believed to be dead. Negotiations for a deal now thrown into question, of course.